This is going to be just a short video about running JavaScript code on your local machine. A lot of people use these kind of online systems for writing and running JavaScript when you're just testing out functions or something like that. And they work just fine. Just to kind of show it off, I've got a function here which just adds two numbers. You give it a and b and it returns the sum of them. And down here I'm console logging add 3 plus 4. If I click run, then it gives me 7, which is just fine. No big deal. But for a lot of reasons, I don't really like using these online browsers when I can do it just locally on my own machine without having to use an online system. So for this video, I'm going to show you 3 different options for doing just that. First option is you can do this stuff just from a browser, not over the internet, but using the browser in DevTools. So this is Chrome. If I open up DevTools here, I can write and run functions directly from this little console here. So I can set variables like a number equals 7. If I type a number, of course I have to type the whole thing. Yeah, it gives me 7. You can even write functions and run them down here. So function, and again you got to type that correctly. Here's one I wrote earlier: subtract, it takes a and b, returns a minus b. And then you can call the function just like we called the variable right here. So if I type subtract, throw in my a number, of course, 7 minus 3 gives me 4. So a number was 7. I set that up here, and that's the function I just wrote. So you can write and run code directly in your browser. You don't have to do anything else. This is great a lot of times for just testing things out quickly. Like if I want to see if some concept I have for like a tricky array thing, like map. So let's do array equals, let's see, 1, 2, yeah, that'll work, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I've kind of forgotten the syntax for filtering or mapping or something. I can test it out here without having to type it into whatever I'm working on at the time. So let's go array.map number, and then I'll just return, let's see, let's go number plus 1. That's easy enough. So what I want to happen is for this to pop out an array where each of these numbers is added 1, and I can test that just right here pretty easily, and haha, it worked, no biggie. Okay, so that works just fine. It's especially good for just testing things out. Your other option is you can type the code into an HTML file. So this is just a blank HTML file. There's nothing in it except for this script tag in the body. I've declared a function, I've declared a constant, and I'm telling it to do something, which is console log this function, so add 2 plus 2. If you open that up in your browser, and I've already got it open over here, and open up DevTools, of course, so I can see the console. It's already done it, but if I click refresh, there you go, it's console logging that 4, which is the add 2 plus 2. This is nice because you can also access these functions and variables and constants or whatever from the DevTools. So if I want to write a function and then play with it, I can write the function over here, which is a lot easier than writing it directly into the DevTools console. I can write the function over here and then access it over here. So since I've got this index HTML file open, I can type the name of that function, which is just add, and then add whatever I want. 3, yes, plus 2, because I couldn't do that one in my head, obviously. And that works just fine, and then you can play around with it. So if I wanted to, this is no longer adding, plus 9,000, yes. So now I'm just editing this so you can see how you could work on something. So add is now going to return a plus b plus 9,000. Go back to your browser, refresh. There's already telling me 9004 because I have this console log. but I can also play with it however I want. Add 3 plus 6, and it's going to return 3 plus 6 plus 9,000. Beautiful. So that works just fine. No big deal there. You can also access constants and variables and things that you've declared. If I type array, no, that's what I put in the other tab. If I type just array, it should give me that, which I've typed in over here. So that works really great. The last option is that in a lot of cases you can run plain old JavaScript files just from your terminal if you've installed the Node.js runtime. I have here, you can check it by typing node-v. And if you get something like that, then that means you've installed it, and this will work. If not, then you'll have to look up how to install it. In most cases, it's pretty easy. But if you have it installed, then all you have to do is just type your code. So this is just the same thing, but in its own JavaScript file. And then type node and then the name of the file, and it should run. Just like that. It gives me 4. Just to proof of concept, plus 66, because why not? Same story. Oh, now it gives me 70.